Hi fam, welcome back to my channel and welcome to my crazy hair. Don't know what's happening. Anyways, welcome back to my channel and welcome to today's video. Today is a Friday and we are jumping into the weekend, and let's speak about what do you need for your attorney admission papers. Let's get to it. So igama ngu Asanda Kantini and I am Asanda Charlotte Ndini, and I am an admitted attorney of High Court. It has actually been ordered. I'll show you a picture of my final order. Still not enrolled though because they take time, but I have been admitted. I do have my court order. It's been served on the LPC as well. I'm an admitted attorney. There's that, and today is the 24th, which is 1 month's anniversary of me being an admitted attorney. How cool is that? Okay, so let's get to the video. I don't want it to be too long. I hope it won't be too long. Anyways, before we get to it, please like, comment, subscribe, share this video, share this channel. We are on our road to 1,000 subscribers, so share. Tell everyone to subscribe. It's free. Subscribe. It's free. I like you all, and I'm nice. Anyways, so this is what you need to actually do when you first get your articles. That's the first thing that you're going to need to remember. If you're getting your articles now, remember this. It's even said on the letter that you receive. Keep your right of appearance and confirmation letter safe. The confirmation for registration of your articles, you're going to receive the original papers. You need to keep that safe. The only original thing that you will not have, if you are in KZN at least, is your contract of employment or contract of articles, that 2-page article that you also submit when you are lodging your application to be registered as a candidate attorney. This is crazy. Anyway, so keep your right of appearance safe. In my video where I said you should keep your right of appearance in your diary as a candidate attorney, I did mention that you should keep your copy, have your principal certify it for you. I almost said satisfied. Certify it for you and then stamp it on your diary, so that whenever you're appearing in a court, especially in a court that you've never appeared in, and they ask you for a right of appearance, you just show the page, because some magistrates don't like technology, and if you're going to say, no, I'll show it to you on my phone, because they do email you the copy, and most of the time you'd have it as that. So something is distracting me, like here. Anyways, most of the time you'll have it on your phone, but it's always wise to have a copy printed that you keep in your diary. The original, you keep it in your office. I kept it in the office and my drawer, together with like all of my applications that to the firm, like my CV. There's a fan here, it's hot. Together with all of my application, all the copy of my contract as well, because you do also need to have the copy of your contract. So hopefully when you were sending it 2 years ago or 1 year ago, you kept the copy as well. You should have kept a copy. Everything that you send out, you keep a copy of. By now, if you're a candidate attorney preparing your papers, you should know this rule. Whatever that goes out, must have a copy of. If you send an email, have a copy of. Obviously, you'll have that. But if you send a letter, you have a copy of the letter. If you send a contract to the LPC, you have a copy of it. Simple as that. Anyways, yeah. So you're going to need your right of appearance and your confirmation of articles registration. Keep that, and the date that you're going to need that you're going to place in your papers is the date that's written on the papers, unless you have something in writing from the LPC, I don't know how, that says that's not the correct date. but the date that you put in your papers is the date that is on there. Unless maybe you're going to say for example, in times of COVID, people would started their articles maybe 25 March, but only got back to the office in June, and the articles were only registered in June. There was condemnation for that, but you have to put it in words as to what happened. Not condemnation for shortening of articles, but condemnation of late placing registering of articles, because articles need to be registered within 2 months of correct me if I'm wrong, 2 months of obtaining the contract. So you need that. That's out of the way. Those two things are out of the way. You need your matric certificate and your birth certificate and your baptism certificate. I'm joking. You need your matric certificate. You need your ID. Like the first annexure on your papers is your ID. Let me just go to my annexures. I'm looking at the index of my papers. This, okay, you can't see it. Nah, you can't see it. Yeah. So if you can, I'll blur it out because there's my ID number there. Anyways, you're going to need your ID, certified copy of your ID. And then have the person who certifies your ID to write an affidavit confirming that they are the person who certified the ID and it was truly you. That is in terms of rule 40 something of the uniform rules, but you have to have that affidavit. I learned of that from my counsel when I'd already done the papers, but nevertheless, so the next annexure would be your annexure stating, confirming that the person certified. So your commissioner of oaths will do an affidavit. The commissioner of oaths will not commission that affidavit, obviously. Another person will commission it. And then the next thing you're going to have, which is the third thing in this sense, you're going to have your certified matric certificate. Matric is very important in life, guys. If you don't have matric, and especially if you want to be part of this profession, I don't want to get into that conversation of matric, but you're going to need your matric certificate. If you don't have it, you don't have a copy of it, obviously going to write a very long affidavit as to what happened to your matric certificate, but obviously getting all the necessary condemnations if they need be, and then you'll be fine. But you need a matric certificate. The next annexure then is your I'm going to get to this thing. Your degree certificate, you have that certified as well. The next thing is your academic record. We all don't like seeing our academic records, or me. Maybe some other people like seeing the academic records. I don't like seeing my academic record. Let me put this phone on silent. But yeah, so you put in your academic record, and then you put the copy of your practical vocational training contract. You put a copy of it, and then you state where's the original. The original is lodged and filed with the LPC. So you state that on your papers, put your original is lodged and placed with the LPC. So that's your other annexure. And then after the contract, then you put your certified copy of your letter confirming registration of your training, then your copy of your certificate of right of appearance. That's your other annexure. And then your other annexure following that would be the copy of your attendance register. Attendance report from the lead Law Society, confirming that you have actually attended the compulsory practical vocational training, or you attended the 6-month full-time training, whatever it is that you attended. So you put in your PLT certificate basically. And then the next thing that you put is certificates of your competency-based examinations. So certificate for paper 1, certificate for paper 2, paper 3, paper 4. You have 4 certificates. And then you must put your next annexure would be a certificate of good character. Where do you get this certificate of good character? get somebody who's admitted and practicing within your jurisdiction. So person who's practicing within the jurisdiction of KwaZulu-Natal. So for me, one was from Potchefstroom and one was from Durban, practicing in Durban, but is obviously still under the jurisdiction of KwaZulu-Natal, KZN division. The other one is practicing in KZA in Potchefstroom. So I had those two certificates. And then the next thing that you're going to put there is proof of payment, because you have to pay an amount to the LPC, to the Legal Practice Council, for them to attend to entertain your application, basically. So the last annexure on your papers would be that. Then obviously, if there are any other things like confirmatory affidavits, supplementary affidavits, anything that you may need to put. So yeah, you're going to put all of those. And one thing that I need you to be mindful of, and then the one thing that I omitted to mention is that you also need to put your principal's confirmatory affidavit. Your principal's confirmatory affidavit, in my thingy, is annexure between my right of appearance, because you mentioned your right of appearance, and thereafter, in your papers, thereafter you mentioned that you have actually done those articles under this particular person, and you serve them this way and this way and this way. Your next story in your papers is about your practical training, and you mentioned that it is confirmed by obviously your principal. So that's how your papers will look. And how do you draft your papers? The one way to have your papers not fatally flawed and not thrown out of court if you are unfortunate that things are not picked up, maybe, or you ignore stuff from the LPC, and then you go straight into court without addressing issues that were there, is to go through your papers and have somebody else also go through them. I did this mistake the first time I filed, and I got a sting for that, because I read my papers ngedwa and only took my understanding. If I just asked, of which I ended up doing, just our office manager, my previous firm, to just check my papers as well, and we checked the papers and they were fine. So you look at all of those things. Another thing is mistakes that are easy to do are mistakes with numbers, like your ID number, your date, the date of commencement of your articles and the end of your articles, and dates of which they actually ended is also very important. And if you were doing your articles during the lockdown season, why am I calling it a season? Lockdown season, you must mention when your office is resumed with work, and you must state what you were doing that time, and if you applied for extension of articles, all of those things. If you didn't need to extend them, you mention why. Maybe because you only closed during that time, that it was only 20-something days and not 30 days, because with practical vocational training, you can't be absent from your contract for 30 years in a year. 30 days or 30 days in a year. So be mindful of that. And what else do I need to mention about the content of the papers? And then so I was still saying, look at the rules, look at the legal practice rules, look at the regulations of the legal council. I'll leave links to these things on the description box, and look at the provincial rules, and also look at the particular court directives. In Gauteng province, there are two courts. There's the Pretoria court and there's the Gauteng court. So in Johannesburg court, I think, but there are two basically divisions. And you must be mindful of the directives of that particular court, because there are different directives for each court. Take, for example, our court here, the Durban Division. Candidate attorneys are not expected to submit a draft order right now. I submitted my draft order, even instructed attorneys to go and annex it into my papers, and to my surprise, they were asked to actually, nope, we do not do a draft for candidate attorneys. The registrar prepares the orders themselves and get them printed. They look cute. They even have like a red star. They're cute. So yeah, I'll show you a picture of it. I'll just blur out certain information. And yeah, will I be able to do that? I don't know. But yeah, so they do that, and be mindful of that. Also, then another thing about your papers, your application papers, is that have your counsel look at your papers before the date. So most of the time you would appoint, or you'd look for a counsel once date is confirmed by receiving a letter of no objection. You're now going to look for a counsel. You find counsel maybe 3 weeks before your admission. Give counsel the papers, maybe hopefully 4 weeks before admission, because close of pleadings. Give counsel your papers. Counsel will check papers, and maybe there's something that you missed, maybe the LPC missed, that is new maybe to the court, and then your counsel will let you know of that, and then you prepare that and submit it maybe on the day, or submit it before. See, I forgot. I didn't take my note of the affidavit for confirming of certifying of a document. My counsel said I must do that, and we did it, and we filed it in court, and it was accepted on the day. So you get. And then what else do you do? You then do, and then okay, one very important thing that made me do a supplementary affidavit. My commissioner of oaths, who were not commissioner of the affidavit, my affidavits, those were done by an attorney. But my certificates, and yeah, actually my certificates were, because my contract was done by an accountant. I'm not putting titles into competency, but you see, this is what happened, and they complied with the rules, because most of the time accountants and attorneys have just stamps that have their full name designation on them. I certified my not ID. I certified my certificates, Emma Poiseni, and they wrote, when they were signing, they didn't write their full names. They just wrote signatures. So I would say Asindin instead of Asanda Charlotte, as required by the Act of Commissioners of Peace. That was a query that I needed to cure by an affidavit, and you need to be mindful of that. So check my certificates, are they actually done by properly in terms of the rules, by having their name, full name, not just Kuntin, full name, designation, the date, and their rank, like whatever it is it needs that identifies them. So if it is Asandantini Constable Banbani of Mutuntonton, you make sure that they put that. Even if you're gonna sound as annoying at the police station, explain to them that actually I need this to be proper, because they will bring it back, and it's going to be your pap, especially for people like us who need correspondence attorneys. So one other thing that I forgot to mention, you need to have a local correspondent attorney if you are outside the jurisdiction of the High Court. Our offices were very far from the High Court. Potchefstroom and PMB, almost 2 hours apart, if not 2 hours exactly. So that's outside the jurisdiction. So you do need a local correspondent. So we appointed an office, use them, and that's that. So you need to have that as well. And then you need to look good. You need to wear according to the decorum of court. It's very nice to actually just wear according to the decorum of court. One thing I love about my profession is that it has rules. That's why I joined the profession. I'm that person that likes rules, and I joined the profession because of that. And I like the fact that you're still held accountable to the rules. So yeah, that's what we did. That's what you need to do. And what else did I forget about your application? Okay, be mindful. One thing that you need to be mindful of, one rule that you need to be mindful of, please read the rules, especially section 20. Let's see. What's the exact section that you need to be mindful of? Section 24 and 30 of the Legal Practice Act. Those are the sections that you need to be mindful of. That you need, and Rule 17 of the South African Legal Practice Council rules. Those are the three things that you need to be mindful of. And regulations made under authority of Section 109 of the Legal Practice Act. So you need to be mindful of those because they are very clear. If you're going to be either, so maybe you won't be complying with these. Mina, it's somebody who practiced, who did their articles for 2 years. So my way of doing articles could be different from yours. So maybe you could be section 25, whatever it is. So read the rules. Don't just take a precedent and just copy and paste everything. Read the rules because it could be different for you. This video is long. I didn't want it to be long, but it's getting very long. Anyways, good luck with your application. Be mindful of the date of the fact that you must lodge your application 1 year before the lapse of 1 year from end of your contract. So if your contract ended on the 10th of February like mine, you should have before then, 30 days before that, 2 months actually, 60 days before that, have lodged your papers in court so that it is within the court papers before the 30 day, the lapse of 1 year, and you don't need to do a condemnation for that. Okay, so be mindful of that, and good luck with your application, guys. And look at my wallpaper. I look so cute. You can't see it. No more than the camera. Anyways, yeah. Be mindful of that and do the application. Do it properly. Do it once and do it properly. Check it and check it and check it again, and you won't have a problem with your papers. And if you do, cure them through a supplementary affidavit, file it, and you'll be fine. And good luck. Look cute on the date, take a lot of pictures, and you've made it. So nothing to worry about. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm done talking.